Land and property. A mistake of a single word can change the entire property inheritance. It is 10 o'clock at night. An old cupboard opens in a house, yellowed papers come out from inside it, and the family members suddenly start looking at each other. It is written on the paper that the land was in the father's name. But the son says, the entire property is mine. This is where a small word becomes a big fear. A misunderstanding of a single word often takes relationships to the courtroom doors. The question seems small, but its impact can last a lifetime. We speak every day, saying it is a matter of land and property. But are land and property really the same thing, or do they have different identities in law? Many people in India buy, sell and inherit property, but they sign the papers without understanding the basic difference. The real story is hidden right here. Land primarily means a fixed portion of the earth. It could be a farm, a plot, an orchard, or commercial land. Land is identified by its location, area, boundary, khasra number, plot number, map, and revenue record. This is not just a spoken thing, it is an asset with a record. Land is immovable property, meaning an asset that cannot be lifted and taken from one place to another. Its connection is always tied to a fixed location. But land is not the only story. The house, shop, factory, boundary wall, and permanent structure built on the land become part of that same immovable property in many cases. Now comes the matter of property. Property is a much bigger word than land. It can include land, a house, cash, gold, and vehicles. That means land can be a part of property, but every property is not land. This very difference gets blurred in common language and starts a dispute. In law, property means something connected with ownership, control, or interest. Whatever you have a legal right, benefit, or claim over can become your property. Immovable property can include land, benefits arising out of land, and things permanently attached to the earth. Therefore, a building is not just bricks and stones, but also a legal asset. The Transfer of Property Act 1882 provides the basic framework for property transfer. It explains how transfers like sale, mortgage, lease, gift, and exchange are understood. Movable property is that which does not lose its nature when moved from one place to another, such as jewelry, vehicles, furniture, machinery, shares, bonds, and bank balance. Sometimes a thing looks movable from the outside, but if it has been attached to the land for permanent use, its legal treatment can change. This is why in a property dispute, it is not just looked at what the thing is. It is also looked at how permanent its relationship with the land is. Suppose someone bought a farm. The farm is land, but the same person also has a tractor, gold, bank FD, and shares. All this combined is property. Now the real fear comes in the title. If someone says I gave the land, it is not necessary that they gave their entire property as well. Whatever is written in the sale deed is the most important. If the plot number, area, boundaries, and rights are not clearly written, a future dispute can arise. Under the Registration Act 1908, the registration of many immovable property documents is compulsory. Especially documents creating or transferring ownership rights should not be taken lightly. Stamp duty and registration fee can vary according to the state. Therefore, while buying a property, one should carefully look at not just the deal price but the total legal cost as well. Many people think that once mutation is done, it means ownership is confirmed. But mutation mainly updates the revenue record. It is not the final proof of title. Revenue record, jamabandi, khatoni, or 7/12 extract help in understanding ownership. But if there is a mistake in the old record, that very mistake can become the root of a dispute. A khasra number identifies a specific parcel of land. A khewat or khata can connect to an ownership group. These terms are used differently in different states. In cities, property is identified differently. Here, the plot number, municipal record, sanctioned plan, completion certificate, and property tax record become very important. While buying an apartment, you don't just buy a flat. The buyer should also understand the undivided share in land, common areas, parking rights, and society rules. In real estate projects, RERA registration, carpet area, possession date, and the builder's responsibility are very necessary. Making a decision just by looking at a brochure, sample flat, or discount can be risky. If any seller says that papers will be done later, just give a token, then one should be careful. Haste in property often becomes the most expensive mistake. The story of property gets deeper in inheritance. Who will get a person's assets after their death depends on personal law and the will. Under the Hindu Succession Act, there are different rules of succession in Hindu, Sikh, Jain, and Buddhist families. Daughters have received strong legal recognition in co-partnership rights. In Muslim personal law, inheritance is decided according to fixed shares and relationships. Therefore, the method of property distribution is not the same in every community. In the case of Christians and some other cases, the Indian Succession Act may apply. Therefore, a single formula cannot be applied across the whole of India in matters of inheritance. A will is a powerful document for property planning. But a will gives security to the family only when it is in clear, wise language that avoids dispute. There is also a difference between a nominee and an owner. Many people consider the nominee to be the final owner, whereas in many assets, a nominee can only play a role like a trustee. In a gift deed, property can be transferred without a sale price. But a gift of immovable property is usually not considered safe without a registered document. Ownership is not transferred in a lease. Only the right to use is given in it. Therefore, it is necessary to understand the rights of a tenant, lessee, and owner separately. Property becomes security in a mortgage. A charge can be created on the property against a bank loan. In case of loan default, this very house or land can come under risk. Benami property means property is in someone else's name and the benefit belongs to someone else. Such transactions can come under the radar of the law and the matter can even reach property confiscation. States may have their own restrictions on agricultural land. In some places, a non-farmer cannot directly buy agricultural land or land conversion approval may be necessary. Land use is also very important. Building a colony, shop, warehouse or factory on agricultural land without permission can create demolition, penalty or title risk in the future. When the government acquires land for a public purpose, the rules for compensation and rehabilitation come under a different legal framework. There is no complete freedom here like an individual sale. Today, land records digitization is increasing rapidly. The objective of the Digital India Land Records Modernization Program is to increase transparency and gradually reduce land disputes. Work is going on towards ULPIN, meaning Unique Land Parcel Identification Number, in many states. In simple words, it can be called the digital identity of a land parcel. But a digital record also helps only when the ground reality is correct. If there is a mismatch in the map, possession and ownership record, the dispute does not end. While buying a property, one should first look at the title chain. Who were the previous owners, how did the transfer happen, and is there any missing link in between? Checking the boundary is just as necessary. If it turns out to be 200 yards in the paper and 180 yards on the land, both the buyer's money and trust can get stuck. Possession is a very powerful fact in property law. Whoever has actual possession, their role can be viewed seriously in court and revenue disputes. An encumbrance certificate or search report reveals whether the property is burdened with a loan, charge, sale agreement, court case, or any other claim. A family settlement can often become a better way than a long court fight. But instead of an oral settlement, a written and legally clear document can save the future. It is also necessary to understand the difference between ancestral property and self-acquired property. Every father's property is not automatically considered ancestral, and the facts of every case are different. In a joint property, a co-owner alone cannot sell the entire property. They can only talk about their share or legally transferable interest. Caution is necessary with the power of attorney. Considering ownership based just on a GPA can be dangerous in many cases, especially in immovable property. An agreement to sell and a sale deed are different. An agreement can show a future promise, but a registered sale deed becomes a strong document for ownership transfer. Many property disputes are of a civil nature. But if there is forgery, cheating, criminal trespass or fake documents, criminal law can also come into the picture. Since July 2024, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita is applicable in criminal matters instead of the IPC. Therefore, the habit of hearing old sections is now gradually changing. In a civil suit, reliefs such as declaration, possession, injunction or partition can be sought. Which relief is correct depends on the facts and documents of the dispute. Limitation is also a big thing. If a person remains silent on their rights for too long, their trouble in court can increase. Property tax, capital gains tax, TDS and stamp valuation are also part of the story of property. Just getting the registry done is not the final financial planning. Jewelry, bank balance, insurance, shares and mutual funds also come under property. Therefore, estate planning is not just the name for dividing land. Business assets can also be a part of property. A shop's stock, machinery, goodwill, trademark and receivables can play a big role in a family dispute. Today, digital assets have also become important. Ignoring a demat account, crypto, YouTube channel, domain name and online wallet can become a problem for the future generation. Therefore, remember the easiest line. Land is a part of the earth, but property is the big picture of all your assets, rights, documents, and legal claims. In a house where this difference is understood, property papers do not become a source of fear. They can become the foundation of the family's security, planning, and peace. But in a house where papers are left incomplete, thinking everything is ours anyway, that is where the most questions arise tomorrow and relationships reach the courtroom. Therefore, before buying, selling, gifting, or dividing property in inheritance, look at the record, not just the trust. Emotion is important, but the law demands documents. Next time when someone says, "This is a matter of land and property," understand that the real question is not just about the land but about the entire right, inheritance, and future.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.